Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi Chief Minister, tweeting on the tragic news of how an ex-army man has allegedly committed suicide, citing one rank, one pension loopholes. Arvind Kejriwal saying, very sad, soldiers fighting on border against external enemy and fighting within for their rights. Whole nation should stand up for their rights, is what Arvind Kejriwal has said in this tweet this morning. It's also the news that is coming in that how this is the ex-army man who has allegedly committed suicide at Jantar Mantar. My colleague Jugal joining us with more details. Yes, Jugal.
Well, Devina, as you're aware, the one rank, one pension is a long-standing, highly emotive issue where since I have covered the issue at Jantar Mantar in the past, we've seen tempers rising and people getting emotional, but very often they've been controlled by the senior officers, the retired veterans who are there out there monitoring it. It seems that in this particular case, this particular Jawan who wanted to meet the defense minister to discuss with him certain anomalies and to point his attention towards certain issues of OROP did not get the chance to meet, and as a result, the aggrieved Jawan decided to consume poison. He was on his way yesterday, I'm told, where he was stopped and then asked to go back with the petition that he wanted to give to the defense minister, and being upset about that eventuality, he committed suicide. He could not be saved despite being rushed to the Ram Manohar Lohia hospital. It indeed comes at an ironic time, because only on Monday we had seen the defense minister speaking in his home state of Goa, saying that the one rank, one pension is a landmark, development. It's a landmark legislation which has been put into place for the veterans, for soldiers, and that no other government has done what the NDA government has done. And we are aware that on the 2nd of November, that is today, protesters are going to be back at Jantar Mantar. They've been flocking that place for more than a year now. They're reigniting their agitation. This suicide by an ex-serviceman has also taken place. It does tell you that while the government is claiming one thing, it does seem that for several veterans, if not a majority of them, the situation is completely to the contrary. In fact, they, as we just brought out in this particular suicide case, believe that justice has not been done, and they believe that the government is only interested in scoring brownie points. But as I said, this is an opinion which is held by some. We do not for sure know whether they speak as a whole, because this is a community of 3 million people that we are speaking about. So this is a rather unfortunate suicide that has taken place, but it does point to the fact that there are anomalies which a certain section...
So Jugal, be with us, because we want to understand more on where the anomalies are, what's the discontent brewing, because as you mentioned, the defense minister has already spoken about rollout of one rank, one pensions being hailed as a landmark milestone by the Modi government. You had the Prime Minister also saying the first installment of one rank, one pension has been released by the government. The promise made at the Diwali occasion when he was interacting with the ITBP Jawans, but clearly Ram Krishna Grewal was not satisfied with it. The ex-serviceman who allegedly committed suicide at Jantar Mantar yesterday afternoon. It's been 40 years in the making, and the Prime Minister had hailed rolling out of one rank, one pension as a key milestone for his government just this weekend. 5,500 crore, the first installment was released by the government, but a tragic news which is coming in that how an ex-serviceman took an exception, not satisfied with the current one rank, one pension structure. Already politics heating up. Arvind Kejriwal has tweeted this morning. Let's take our viewers through that tweet as well as Jugal continues to be with us on this story. Very sad, soldiers fighting on border against external enemy and fighting within for their rights. Whole nation should stand up for their rights is what Arvind Kejriwal has tweeted this morning. So Aam Aadmi Party targeting the centre over one rank, one pension scheme. So Jugal, what is the anomaly right now that you have been able to discuss and get a sense of from the various army veterans? Where are they not satisfied? Coming to you, but before that, let's go across to Sanjay Singh, who's joining us this morning. Mr. Singh, thank you for speaking to India today. We have Arvind Kejriwal saying that soldiers fighting on border fighting within for their rights. Is this now a fresh round of politicization that we're looking at from the Aam Aadmi Party on one rank, one pension?
नहीं, हर बात को आप राजनीति के दृष्टि से मत देखिए। अगर कोई घटना हुई है तो उस घटना की निष्पक्षता से उसकी जांच होनी चाहिए, उसका मूल्यांकन होना चाहिए। अब अगर आप एक तरफ सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक पे पूरी सरकार श्रेय ले रही है, बिल्कुल अच्छी बात है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग पूरे देश में पोस्टर लगा रहे हैं, वो भी देश देख रहा है। लेकिन अगर आप विकलांगता के पेंशन सेना के लोगों की कम कर रहे हैं तो उस पर सवाल उठाया जाएगा। अगर OROP पर आज एक जवान, एक एक्स सर्विसमैन ने अगर अपनी शहादत दी है, अपने आप को कुर्बान किया है, तो निश्चित रूप से वो सवाल उठाया जाएगा। क्या केंद्र सरकार को इस मामले में सोचना नहीं चाहिए? OROP के मामले में इतने लंबे समय से एक सर्विसमैन का प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है जंतर मंतर पे, उस पर अब तक सरकार ने क्या किया सिवाय आश्वासन देने के? बार बार उनको आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं। चुनाव के पहले आपने झूठ बोला, चुनाव के बाद आपने आश्वासन दिया कि नहीं OROP देश में लागू हो गया। कहाँ लागू हुआ OROP? अगर OROP लागू हो रहा होता,
यही कहा है संजय सिंह जी। प्रधानमंत्री ने ये बिल्कुल स्पष्ट कर दिया है कि 5,500 करोड़ का जो मूल्य है वो दिया गया है वन रैंक वन पेंशन स्कीम के रोल आउट के लिए। तो यहाँ पे जब 40 साल तक काम नहीं हुआ, एक कदम के बाद ही काम हो सकता है। अचानक से इस स्कीम को लागू करना तो जो है वो सरकार के लिए पॉसिबल भी नहीं है। आप भी जानते हैं, आपकी पार्टी सरकार में है कि कदम से कदम मिलाकर ही काम होता है। इस तरह का राजनीतिकरण करना, वो भी एक शहीद जवान के ऊपर, ये क्या आम आदमी पार्टी को शोभा देता है?
जो मुद्दे हैं उसको हम उठा रहे हैं, हम कहाँ राजनीति कर रहे हैं। आप अगर विकलांगता के पेंशन कम करेंगे सेना के लोगों के, तो क्या उस पर सवाल नहीं उठाए जाएंगे? जो लोग सेना पे सीमाओं पे लड़ते हुए अपना हाथ पैर गवा देते हैं, उनकी पेंशन आपने खत्म कर दी। आपको शर्म नहीं आती? आपको शर्म नहीं आती? आपने अभी जिस तरीके से लगातार OROP पे महीनों से प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा है, उस पर कोई सरकार ने नोटिस नहीं लिया। सिर्फ जवानी आप बोलते हैं हमने लागू कर दिया, लागू कर दिया। अगर लागू हो गया था तो मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ ये प्रोटेस्ट क्यों चल रहा था? कैसे उन्होंने आत्महत्या करने के लिए उनको क्यों मजबूर होना पड़ा? इसका मतलब ये सरकार सैनिकों के साथ छलावा कर रही है, दिखावा कर रही है, ढोंग कर रही है, वास्तव में कुछ नहीं कर रही।
संजय सिंह जी, सरकार ने तो कहा है अपनी तरफ से कि वो स्टेटस को मनाएंगे डिसेबिलिटी पेंशन पे। उन्होंने कहा है कि एक इंडिपेंडेंट पैनल जो है वो जांच करेगा, एक नया फॉर्मूला लेकर आएगा। पर अभी स्टेटस को है जो पिछली सरकार भी ले चुकी है, जो कांग्रेस के अंदर सरकार ने जिस तरह का डिसेबिलिटी पेंशन अप्रूव करा था वही रहेगा। तो इसके लिए जो आज अरविंद केजरीवाल जी प्रश्न उठा रहे हैं, आप सरकार पे सीधा निशाना इसलिए साध रहे हैं क्योंकि कोई और वजह नहीं है? ये तो एक वन रैंक वन पेंशन को इस तरह सक्सेसफुल करने की बजाय आप उसके लिए क्रिटिसाइज करे जा रहे हैं।
वन रैंक वन पेंशन दिया कहाँ? जो सारे सैनिकों की डिमांड थी, जो सरकार ने वादा किया था, क्या वन रैंक वन पेंशन उस हिसाब से दी गई? क्या ये डिसेबिलिटी पेंशन पे ये देश के सामने झूठ बोल रहे हैं? डिसेबिलिटी पेंशन इस सरकार ने कम किया, आप कह रही है नहीं डिसेबिलिटी पेंशन पे सरकार पुराना स्टैंड ले रही है। आप पुराना स्टैंड लेने के लिए थोड़ी आए।
स्टेटस को मेंटेन करेंगे, एक पैनल जो है उसका गठन करा जाएगा और डिसेबिलिटी पेंशन पे जो के मुद्दे पे जितनी भी दिक्कतें आ रही हैं उन सब के ऊपर ध्यान दिया जाएगा। सरकार ने ये भी कहा है कि 5,000 करोड़ रुपए जो है वो रिलीज करेगा है वन रैंक वन पेंशन के लिए। सरकार काम कर रही है, पर आम आदमी पार्टी क्यों हर एक मुद्दे पे टूट पड़ती है, ये सवाल है।
हर एक मुद्दे पे जब भी सेना के लोगों का सवाल उठेगा, जब भी देश के लोगों का सवाल उठेगा, उस पर बोलना पड़ेगा। सरकार सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं है कि वो अपने खाली बहादुरी और बड़े बड़े भाषणों से देश की जनता को मूर्ख बनाती फिरे। सरकार इसलिए नहीं है कि सेना के लोगों पे राजनीति करे, अपना अभिनंदन करवाए, अपने पोस्टर लगवाए, अपना सार्वजनिक अभिनंदन गोवा से लेके आगरा तक करवाए। इसलिए सरकार नहीं बनी है। सरकार का काम है सेना के लिए, सेना के जवानों के लिए काम करना, उनकी सुविधा मुहैया कराना। और उनकी सुविधाएं आप अगर कम करेंगे तो केजरीवाल नहीं पूरा देश प्रश्न उठाएगा।
संजय सिंह joining us from the Aam Aadmi Party. संजय सिंह जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया. So that's the word coming from the Aam Aadmi Party that the government must look into the anomalies that's been cited, specifically raking up the issue of the tragic alleged suicide of the ex-serviceman. Sanjay Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party targeting the government and the centre after Arvind Kejriwal has tweeted over the matter as well, saying that disability pension remains a core issue. My colleague Jugal is still with us. So Jugal, you've been speaking to a lot of army veterans. What's the sense you've been getting about the criticism that's coming the way of one rank, one pension?
Well, Devina, it is nothing new. The government had announced the one rank, one pension last September. November 2015 is when the notification was printed, and since that date, The veterans have been protesting against it. They believe that justice has not been done. They've highlighted several anomalies in the implementation of one rank, one pension, for which a judicial committee was formed. Now, the report has been submitted by the judicial committee, but the contents of the report have not as yet been made public by the Defense Ministry. That's number one. Number two, the second aspect is that the veterans feel that if it is one rank, one pension, then the revision of pension has to happen every year. Government says it has to happen once in 5 years. There's also the issue of refixation of the pay scales, which is a slightly technical issue which the veterans can elaborate further on. So there are at least 4 to 5 different anomalies which exist, and these are the driving factors behind the wedge between the government and several sections of the veteran community, which is numbering about 3 million in the country. And this is the reason why the agitation is still going on, being carried forward by some of these members. In fact, today onwards at Jantar Mantar, the fresh round of agitation is also slated to begin. So this extremely unfortunate suicide, in a sense, pointing to the fact that there are still issues which many veterans feel aggrieved with. There are issues which are driving many veterans to believe that, notwithstanding what the government may claim, and the government has been claiming quite a lot of political credit for implementing one rank, one pension, but the several sections of the veteran community feel that one rank, one pension in the form which the parliament has approved has not been implemented, and they want an early implementation. The government.
Well, Jugal, I'll have to interrupt you because you stay with me as we are breaking this news here from the newsroom. Also getting a letter that was written by Subedar Ram Krishna Grewal. This letter was addressed to the Indian government. He's talked about one rank, one pension, OROP. He said this is related to the 6th and the 7th pay commission, how there've been a hike given there, and also on the proposal of reducing the pension. He said, Savniya Prata ye hai कि आपके द्वारा की गई घोषणाओं के मुताबिक हमारे को वन रैंक वन पेंशन, छठवां सातवां पे कमीशन की बढ़ोतरी अभी तक नहीं मिली है. इसके साथ साथ पेंशन भी कम मिलती है, जबकि पद के अनुसार 7 वालों को ज्यादा पेंशन मिलती है. सो दिस इज द कॉन्टेक्स्ट इन विच नाउ सुबेदार रामकृष्ण ग्रेवाल हैज addressed this letter to the Indian government. The date that's given here is 31st August is when he had, October, pardon me, when he had written this letter, following which the news came in on how yesterday afternoon Subedar Ram Krishna Grewal committed suicide at Jantar Mantar. But this is the letter that unravels many questions as well. Because, Jugal, this is what Subedar Ram Krishna Grewal has said. He said that it is because of the anomaly in pay of different ranks that has also scuttled and rattled the army veterans.
That's right, Dana. In fact, there are several anomalies, at least 4 to 5, that the veterans have been pointing out to. The Defense Ministry, in response to these anomalies, had set up a one-member commission headed by the retired Chief Justice of the Patna High Court, which had looked into the entire matter. That report also has been submitted only last week to the Defense Ministry. I'm given to understand that it is still being studied. Interestingly, the Defense Ministry has chosen to not make the report and the details of it public, even though this is obviously not an issue which has any impact on operational security of the Indian Army. But nevertheless, it has not been made public as yet. And that's the reason why we are given to understand that there is a lot of doubts. There's a lot of doubts lingering in the minds of several veterans. And this suicide perhaps points to the fact that these doubts are now very firmly rooted, and that they believe that it is time for the government to correct these anomalies. This judicial committee, which was looking into the 191 pension issue, has only last week, after seeking an extension, submitted its report. And that's the reason why we'll have to wait and watch as to what happens further from this point onwards. But it's a very serious issue, and as I said, today onwards, we will see a fresh round of protests starting at Jantar Mantar, the same venue where we had seen protests taking place last year as well. Back to you.
Okay, Jugal, be with us, because let's take our viewers once again through the letter that's been coming to light of Subedar Ram Krishna Grewal, written on 31st October. and this is where he alleges the discontent between the army veterans over 6th and 7th pay commission. He said that there has been an anomaly of the pension that army veterans would get post the 6th and 7th pay commission. Jugal still with us. Jugal, you've been talking about that there's been a report already with the Defence Ministry over the dissatisfaction brewing, and it's a tragic suicide of ex-servicemen which brings it to light, because in this letter he also says that hopefully the note that's been recovered after his suicide, he says that hopefully that my sacrifice would enable the government to wake up, take notice, and the decision will be taken in favor of our brave soldiers.
That's right, Devina. In fact, this particular note, in which we can see clearly there are 3 points which are mentioned. He speaks about his own background in the service. He speaks about where all he has served, and the fact that one rank, one pension, 6th pay commission, and the 7th pay commission. These are all sore points, Devina, which have been flagged by the armed forces. In fact, just last week we had reported on the issue of the disability pension, that the government has also referred to the anomalies committee, which is looking into the 7th pay commission. There's also the issue of equivalence, where the military is upset at its order of protocol, its order of seniority. They believe perceivably has been downgraded vis-a-vis civilians. That has been another sore point. So while it's one thing for the Modi Sarkar to go to Uttar Pradesh, get the BJP workers to make posters of the surgical strikes, it's an extremely ironical situation where the military is unhappy and is not satisfied in the manner in which the BJP, the NDA government, has been able to address its issues. The 7th pay commission is a sore point. The one rank, one pensions incomplete implementation, as has been flagged by this particular ex-serviceman, is another sore point. And the disability pension, the issue of equivalence. So it does seem that for a government which claims to be a highly nationalistic government, a pro-uniform government, it does seem that the issues are not being addressed as they should be, and that these are coming to the fore. This particular suicide, in that sense, being the trigger to once again have the spotlight on to the OROP issue, which has been a long-standing issue, mind you. Last year we'd seen protests peaking at Jantar Mantar over the issue, but after last November we had seen things subsiding. The veterans said they will give some time to the committee made by the Defence Ministry to study the issue, but it does seem that the committee's report, submitted only last week, which has not been as yet made public, has driven a wedge, and it does seem that several sections among the veteran community, if not a majority of them, are clearly unhappy. They want the government to not just take credit based on their actions, but also work towards their upliftment and towards their welfare, as the government had promised while speaking votes. Back to you.
All right, and also the wake-up call that was given on 31st October with this letter by Subedar Ram Krishna Grewal. What was the response, or was it also ignored? One needs to wait and watch and see and question. But Jugal, thanks for joining us with all those updates.